Hey guys, how you doing? Tekking down here, guys, behind the logo. Yeah, hey, how you doing? Okay, it's been a while since we've done this, so let's just do a standard Tekking tumble from the planking position, Redux Ultimate version with a flip and a breakdancing climax. All right, ready, set, here we go. Okay, so that's a thing. You know what I need to do? I'm starting to run out of ideas. I need to sit down and come up with a list of different Tekking tumbles, like enhance my repertoire, you know? Okay, so, this will be a review of One Piece 2018. Not the chapter 2018, although we might get there at some point, who knows? I'll be an old man at that point. Actually not that old, it would probably only be another, like, I don't know, 20 years or something. Yeah, I'd be an old man. So, this is not going to be like a top 10 or top 5 or anything. This is me basically just going through all the chapters this year, pointing out the high points, my favorite moments. Feel free to comment your favorite moments down below. We're almost done with 2018, guys. We almost made it through another year on this planet, okay? Is everyone still here? I'm reminded of that scene in Atlantis, The Lost Empire, when everybody falls down the hole and it's dark, and then just lights the flame, and he's like, okay, who's not dead? Basically, that's how it is going. Come on, we're almost to 2020. Everything is gonna get way better when we get to 2020, because that just sounds awesome, right? It sounds like that's when we're really gonna be starting to live into the future. You know, the year 2023 or whatever. You just wait one more year, just one more year until we get to 2020. Everything will be great. I promise you that. I'm writing checks that I can certainly not cash. Okay, so, this year in review, well, there's, okay, I'll just be honest with you. This is just a list of all the reasons Robin is best girl. So, yeah. No, this year started off with chapter 891, which was called Believing in You. It was at the height of the battle between Luffy and Katakuri, so we started off this year with a bang. I wasn't really gonna mention the first chapter, because there wasn't really anything that happened in it that in particular. This is still a few chapters out from Snake Man, but this was actually the chapter that introduced Flampe. And we all love Charlotte Flampe. She's actually probably my favorite Charlotte. Like, easily blows Smoothie out of the water, right? But no, this is interesting because I'm pretty sure this chapter, 891, is going to be adapted into the anime in the very next episode. Because at the end of the last episode of the anime, you got the preview, and you saw Charlotte Flampe in the preview, as well as the finishing of the cake, which was also in this chapter. So, yeah, it's kind of weird how this thing circles back, where the first chapter of this year is going to be one of, if not the last episode of the One Piece anime in the very same year. So, they're rather close together, closer than I thought that they would be. But yeah, 891, that's where we start everything off. Flampe, we eventually do find out that Charlotte Flampe, through, like, SBS, is the Minister of Honey. Over on Millance Island, I believe. But we didn't really care much about her. I hope that she just gets deflated and someone just pops her like a balloon and she just flies off into the horizon. We never see her again, you know, shallow freaking bunt. Okay, so, of course, the next big moment that everybody's gonna be waiting for, this kicked off the year, I think, properly. This was the first really big hype moment of 2018, and that was, of course, Snake Man! So, yeah, Snake Man was pretty cool. It was kind of bogged down when Luffy went into Snake Man when I was reviewing it, because this was at the same time when my house flooded. So it's like, oh, Snake Man, awesome. Oh crap, now we have to deal with this today. So I had to, yeah, that was a messy day. But that doesn't let that bog down for everybody. Snake Man is awesome. Now it wasn't a different gear or anything, so it was just like a modified version of Gear 4th. But that's what we've seen so far. Like we had Tank Man when Luffy fought against Cracker. So it was the standard reason that we were going to get some other variations of Gear 4th. This is a clever way I think Oda did it. Because instead of just introducing, like, Gear 5th, 6th, 7th, like, a whole new set of gears, how about we just do Gear 4th, but there's different different versions of said gear. There's been a lot of theories swirling around exactly what the different, versions of the gear represent. Like, for example, gear 4th Tank Man might be like a mastery of armament hockey. You're just hockeying up as much as possible and you're becoming like a tank. Snake Man is, of course, observation or speed. That's another thing, too. People have been like, oh, maybe Tank Man is defense, Snake Man is speed, and then there might be another version that we don't know about yet. Bound Man, the original version that Luffy goes into when he fought Doflamingo. People think of that as sort of just like a best of all of the, like a jack of all trades variant, just like, oh, it's kind of right in the middle, a balanced version of speed, defense, and attack. But there could be another version out there somewhere, which I would be fine with that. They're saying there might be a version that, is catered specifically to Conqueror's hockey, because, of course, that's the specialty that Luffy has. So, yeah, it might be like maybe Lion Man or something, because King of the Beasts, King of the Pirates, that sort of thing. Not sure if we're going to get that. I'm of the opinion that when we do get to Gear 5th, and that'll, of course, be coming at some point, that should be Luffy's awakening. I feel like Gear 5th would be a good spot for that. It might not be. Maybe he'll come up with another idea before then. Maybe after getting the ever-loving schnoggins beat out of him by Kaido, maybe Luffy will come to realize, he's like, oh, well, maybe I need a Gear 5th Dragon Man, or Gear 4th Dragon Man, something like that. I don't know how he's going to go about it, but the next gear that he introduces, I would prefer it be just his awakening. I think that's a good fit there. Anything else, and you can maybe just incorporate it into Gear 4th, because the whole thing about Gear 4th is it's adding hockey to, his various forms and stuff, so he can make himself faster and make his rubber body stretch further using hockey and stuff. And of course, he's learning more about observation in order to sense his environment and see a little bit into the future. All that stuff is sort of like the central hub of Gear 4th. So if you're just going to even add a few more forms that he didn't think of already, just adding as they go, I'd be fine with that as well. Alright, so Luffy's epic final battle with Katakuri concludes. You had him using his King Cobra, launching an attack against Katakuri. Katakuri has the moment where he's sort of an ally. It started off as like a straight enemy, but after like exchanging blows for like 12 hours or whatever it was, Katakuri became a pretty cool dude. Luffy didn't laugh at his mouth or anything, like Flampe did. Like, here's members of his own family. So I was under the impression, like, man, Katakuri, you don't need to take this shit. Get the hell out of Totland. Leave. Just get out of there. Just help the Straw Hats escape and sail off into the great blue yonder. And you don't have to be a permanent Straw Hat, but it'd be cool if Katakuri could help out in Wano. Imagine Katakuri walking around wearing a kimono in Wano. I think it could work. Whatever. But of course, that's not what happens. Katakuri basically just kind of stands up over Luffy and is like, are you gonna come back here someday? And Luffy's like, damn straight I am. I'm gonna take out Big Mom and I'm gonna be Pirate Kaiser Kooni or whatnot. Like, Luffy then passes out. It was a rough fight. But Katakuri has a moment where he's like, okay, I see. And then he falls backwards and finally lands on his back, and that was the big epic finish there. Just for the sake of seeing the upgraded version, or the improved variant of the Gumu Gumu no Mi, which was the Mochi Mochi no Mi, going up against each other. And so it's like, anything you can do, I can do better. Anything you can stretch, I can stretch too. And even longer, Luffy. Yes. But yeah, Katakuri was an interesting character. I don't think this will be the last we'll see of him. He'll definitely be reappearing. So that's the cool thing. It's like, Totland is over, but Big Mom wasn't defeated. They suffered a moral defeat because the Straw Hats managed to escape their grasp, and despite their best efforts, they couldn't catch them, but they're still around. So, yeah, we're going to be seeing Big Mom and Perospero and Smoothie and Katakuri and everybody. We're going to be seeing Snack. Don't forget about Snack now. We're going to be seeing all those guys again. Probably going to be a little bit of a while before we get to them in Wano, because Big Mom is heading to Wano because she's pissed at Kaido, or, it's like, oh, you can't have them, I have to have them, or we're making an alliance. It's probably not going to last very long. I mean, it might be a tenuous alliance right now, but probably not going to last very much longer. But yeah, we'll definitely be seeing the Charlotte crew again. Just maybe give it a few more dozen chapters so we can get really into Wano, and then maybe by like the third act or something, that's when they'll appear. I could see that maybe as the climax of the second act, like the last scene of the second act. We see the Big Mom, the Queen Mama Shanter on the horizon heading toward Onigashima. Like, oh, it's happening! So, yeah. Okay, so after that, not really much else. I mean, there was the scenes where the Germa arrived and helped Luffy at Cacao, Sulong Peckoms, which we still don't know what happened with Peckoms. Is Peckoms okay? I'm worried about the little lion dude, you know? Because it's like, he went into Sulong, and the roar, and then they just all kind of jumped on him and held him down, and he got knocked out of his Sulong, I guess. But we don't know what happened to him afterwards, if he's still working for the Big Mom Pirates, or if Big Mom was pissed at what he did, if he had to spin the roulette wheel. I don't know, man. But that happened. The Germa getting to see what they could do with all their different powers was neat. They get away from Cacao. There's the emotional moment here between Luffy and Judge and then Sanji, where Judge is like, what do you see in that guy? He's useless. All he can do is cook. And Luffy's like, oh, well, thank you. Yes, I know he can cook. He can cook really well. Luffy didn't even know it was an insult. That was pretty good. But beyond that, we just get to the ending of the arc, which is the whole thing with Jinbei. Did you like that scene? I mean, like, there's two ways to look at this. It was a very emotional scene when Jinbei goes back to, like, save his friends, because Jinbei's not a cold, heartless bastard. He's not just gonna be like, oh, listen, this is my crew. I can't just leave them high and dry. I need to go back and help them, and then I'll follow you to Wano. And then you have the scene with Luffy, like, you're a member of my crew now. You can either look at it in the context of the story, where it makes sense that Jinbei would go back to save his allies, or you can look at it from sort of like a meta perspective, where it's like, would he just join the ding-dong damn crew already? You know, most people, when you're thinking meta, you're gonna talk in a southern accent, you know? But it's like, yeah, it's like, how many times has it been kind of, you know, teased at us, you know, like a cat toy, like, Jinbei's gonna join. No, he's not. Jinbei's gonna join now. No, he's not. Jinbei's... And that would have been, like, one of the perfect points for it to happen, the end of Totland, all the crap that went on. He separated himself from Big Mom. It's fine. All I can say about it is that I'm sure Oda has a plan for Jinbei. There's a reason we do not see him in the cover spreads, even though the Vivara Card data book, the most recent booster pack, laid it out for us. 100% Jinbei is the 10th Straw Hat, so it's been confirmed already. It's just that the next time we see him, he's probably going to be missing an arm or a leg, or he's going to have the eye patch. I think he's going to have the eye patch, because Oda does that very specific thing, like the certain pirate traits. Like, pirates have, like, the stereotypical pirate. They have a hook for a hand, or a peg leg, or an eye patch. Oda does not use those traits sparingly throughout the series. He picks a very important character and gives that trait to them. Crocodile is the hook arm pirate, and Crocodile is a really important character. Zeph is the peg leg pirate, and we don't have an eye patch pirate yet, so I'm thinking Jinbei's gonna be the eye patch pirate. He's gonna arrive with a wound, and he's gonna be having an eye patch, and it's gonna be like, okay, and then that's gonna be the new member of the Straw Hat crew there. But beyond that, we had the epic scene where Big Mom ate a cake. She shoved that in her gullet, so that was a cool scene there. They managed to satiate Big Mom's hunger, so that's a victory for Sanji. They managed to escape the entire islands and, you know, Totland in general, so that was a victory for the Straw Hats. So I think at the end of the day, as long as Jinbei survives this and gets back to the crew, everything's good. Luffy defeated Katakuri, everything's set. All right, cool. Now, after this, we get the buffer chapters in between Reverie, 903 and 904. 903 being the big chapter that revealed Luffy's new bounty, 1.5 billion, which at the time was the highest bounty revealed in the entire story, until two weeks ago when we got Blackbeard's bounty. So yeah, but for a while there, Luffy was the king for a good, like, 5 months, 6 months, something like that. I also remember this was probably the most difficult week for me in terms of just doing the reviews and getting videos out, because the day or so after the chapter came out, I don't even think I got to the review yet, I came down with this horrible flu. And then I recovered from the flu pretty quickly, but then I got a secondary infection. I got an ear infection, and I could not hear out of my ears. I could hear, but it was very muffled. It was very annoying. For like a week and a half. I could barely hear, and it was really annoying. And then chapter 904 is when we get into the Revolutionary Army Commanders, and we got to see what they were up to. Lindbergh, Karasu, Morley, and Bello Betty. We got to see Bello Betty's devil fruit, which is the cheer fruit. Morley's push fruit, which wasn't revealed by name at that point, but we found out later in the Vivre card. Lindbergh is a cat mink that apparently is like Vegapunk's apprentice or some shit, because he's a cat with a jetpack and all these. He has like a freeze gun and everything. And then Karasu's just a creepy crow dude. But he's a creepy crow dude that could separate into an entire murder of crows. So yeah, any devil fruit that includes the word murder, you know, that's epic right there in its own right. So we got to see what they're all about, and then we cut immediately after that to the mini Reverie arc. Or is it Leverie? Because I guess the official translation of the word is with an L, although L's and R's are pronounced pretty much the same in Japanese, so you could still pronounce it Reverie, but I guess it's spelled I'm not. Reverie worked. Reverie worked for so many reasons, because it's like revelry. It's happy and cheer. You know, you're all the kings of the world coming together to laugh and to trade stories and talk about government conspiracies. Reverie. You know, you've never been to a good government conspiracy revelry party. You're not living your life, guys. You know, make that your New Year's resolution. The Illuminati puts out, go to your local post office. The Illuminati is bound to have a slip there, you know, when the next party is, you know, okay. So Reverie. I was a little disappointed in the length of Reverie. You know, it depends on how excited you were for Wano, I guess. I was in the camp that was like, we've already waited over a year and a half or 2 years or so waiting for Wano. Oda kept saying, you know, oh, it's going to happen by the end of 2017, and it never happened. So it's like, you know what, at this point, Oda, you'll get to it eventually. So I was expecting Reverie to be about 10 chapters, minimum, I'll admit. It was only, if you want to count the chapter 904 with the Revolutionary Army Commanders, which I'm not sure, I don't really include that because it didn't really have anything to do with Reverie specifically up until like the very last panel where they mention it. You know, 905 to 908, so 4 chapters was Reverie, and that was it. That's all we got. Now, to be fair, Oda packs a lot of stuff in those chapters. He's sort of like channels Togashi from Hunter x Hunter, where he throws in a bunch of dialogue and inner dialogue and all that stuff. There's a lot of stuff to unpack there, and I would recommend going, because I just did it recently, but I would recommend going back and reading just those 4 chapters, because, yeah, there might be 1 or 2 things that you didn't really notice, and Oda had to include a lot of, like, you know, here's some trivia about Wapple, here's some trivia about Vivi, you know, because it's been a while since we've seen them all. A lot of interesting characters that we haven't seen in so long. Vivi is back. Dalton, Kureha are back. Rob Lucci returns. You know, and we see the Gorosei. Shanks is there. Cobra, you know, Fujitora, Ryokyogu, who is, well, Fujitora and Ryokyogu. We were talking about, like, demolishing the Warlord system, and they're bringing up Vegapunk. You know, a lot of stuff going on here at Reverie. And, of course, the whole thing is awash in the mysterious Im-sama. We see, like, it's almost like at the end of every single chapter, Oda tried to, like, one-up himself, where it's like, okay, there's only 4 chapters of Reverie, so I'm gonna make sure that the ending of each one of these chapters has a big, like, what the hell moment. So we get to see the Straw Hat in the freezer, and Im-sama like, huh? And then we see Shanks arrive, and we're like, ah! And then we see Im-sama at the end of the very last chapter of Reverie, and we're like, ah! Ah! So, yeah, that was pretty. I'm missing one of the chapters there. I'm missing one of them. There's one, maybe one of the ending of the chapters wasn't as epic. Maybe it was the ending of 906, the only one I forgot, but whatever. Yeah, so let's talk about Im-sama, right? So, Im-sama is the supreme ruler of the entire world, for realsies. The Gorosei are a little more than just the, his disciples, I guess, or his loyal subjects. They're the ones that actually carry out the laws of the One Piece world, that serve as the public face of the world government. Like, when the general public look to the world government, they see the Gorosei as the supreme commanders, right? But in actuality, they take their orders from Im-sama. We don't know what Im-sama looks like. We just know he's a very lanky fellow with a giant crown, that apparently has a disdain for Luffy and Blackbeard and probably anybody connected to the Will of D, and also apparently has the hots for Vivi, and has a very impressive Straw Hat collection. So, Yeah, I mean, we always have our prized hat collections, right? Mine's mostly bowler hats, but I don't want to show it to you because they're very delicate. One of them stretches back to 1894. It's the first bowler ever invented by John Michael Bowler. Yeah, exactly. Now, who or what exactly is Im-sama? Well, that's anybody's guess. You know, you could take from the list. Is he a ghost? Did someone perform the Eternal Youth operation on him? Is he a descendant from the original king of the world? Is he the original king from the world? Is he a member of the Will of D? I don't know. I have no idea. Does he have boobs? Maybe. I don't know. We didn't see him. He's only in silhouette. Is it Mihawk? It's got to be Mihawk because I saw the eyes with the rings. Yeah, that's not a telltale sign because that's just a sign for what Oda does whenever he wants to make a character look really ominous or serious or convey strong emotion. He'll do the Rinnegan thing with the character's eyes. That's pretty much all we got there. So, yeah. My personal opinion of Im-sama, I would like him to be either a ghost from the Void Century that's just still around, or the physical body of the same king, and just he's surviving through the Eternal Youth operation. That would be what I would go with there. I think it would be really cool to have a character that survived like through the centuries. He's still around, and he made it to the present day, because that would answer a lot of questions, like who else better to reveal all the secrets of the Void Century than somebody that actually lived through it. We might hear him speak at some point to maybe the Gorosei. We don't exactly know how he conveys his messages to people. Yeah. Oda's probably gonna wait a while to shed any more light on Im-sama, because you could feel like this was a big bombshell for us. Like, we found out, I mean, it was kind of hinted at the chapter before he was revealed properly as the king of the world, because, we saw the empty throne, and I'm looking at that empty throne, and I know a lot of other people were looking at that damn thing, and we were like, okay, there's no way that that's just a symbol. That throne really does represent the king of the world, and somebody's gonna walk in and plop their ash right down on that thing. And then very next chapter, what happens? Im-sama walks in and just king of the world! That's basically what goes down there. So, if I was gonna pick, like, my favorite moment of this year, I don't think anyone should be surprised by it. It's Kaido is a dragon, because how do you not? But my second moment of this year I was gonna pick that was gonna be, like, just incredible, like, changing of the entire series, just shakes the whole One Piece community to its core. That's probably going to be Im-sama's reveal, not just as the king of the world, but just as Im-sama's existence. He's a very mysterious figure, completely shrouded in silhouette. Oda really wanted to make sure that we didn't see any real, I mean, there's a few details of him, like his eyes and stuff, and his, like, lanky appearance and the crown, but beyond that, he didn't really want us to show anything, But beyond all that, he didn't want us to see anything, really. So, yeah, we'll probably find out more about him, I would say, after Wano's over. Wano is still quite a bit ways off of being done. We've only finished the first act of 5. So we'll get there at some point, and probably, I would hope maybe next year, but maybe not. We might not even get more of Im-sama until 2020. Because Wano might very well take up all of 2019. But that's not a bad thing, because 2019, guys, that's going to be the year of Wano! Finally! Took long enough. This year, I guess you could include it, but it wasn't for this entire year, so you really can't count it that way, okay? But anyway, yeah, that was Reverie. A lot of stuff to unpack there. I made an entire playlist of videos about that, because that was a lot of... That was really good for everybody talking about One Piece. Those few months of... or that 1 month of Reverie, because there was just so much information to be dropped, so many things to talk about, and videos to be made, and everyone was really getting excited about it. So that was a lot of fun. It was like the most fun I've ever had this year making videos. It was probably during like that, I think it was June, like all month of June. That was like Reverie month. That was a lot of fun there. Okay, moving on to now Wano. We finally got there. I'm not going to spend too much time on Wano itself, because it's very fresh in our minds. We just started it and everything. The first little part of part 1 of Wano, act 1 of Wano, I should say, where we get introduced to Otama and everybody, sort of a slow start. We got to see Luffy fight against some random riffraff and then teams up with Zoro and then fought against Hawkins. That was really cool. The whole Bakura district thing. Little maybe like just a lot of stuff getting thrown at us at once because we're finding out all these characters like Okiku and Suru and Notama, and then the headliners appear. Here's Speed, here's Hold'em, and it's just like maybe a lot of stuff to take in at first. But we have enough familiar faces, and we have Zoro teamed up with Luffy for those first few chapters, and then we have Hawkins, of course, and later on we get name drop from X-Drake and everybody. So yeah, and Law's there, of course. So yeah, it takes a little while maybe to just acclimate to Wano because Oda's throwing a lot of stuff at us, but once it all clicks together, after the first initial battle is over and Luffy gets all the food at Okabore Town, and then he meets Kinemon at Oden Castle, and then we get the hot news laid on our laps about the time-traveling plot. That was something that I didn't see coming a mile away. That was something that, I don't know, I'm sure there's somebody out there that probably came up with that idea, like, you know, oh, there's time-traveling samurai in Wano. I'm like, sure, great, fine, good for you, really, but I did not see that coming at all. I'm perfectly fine with having time travel in my One Piece, I really am, as long as you don't break the system, and I did a whole video on the time fruit about that, but the way Oda's doing it seems to be working. You can't travel back, you can only continue forward, makes sense. What's the deal with Lady Toki right now? Is she still around? Did she pass away? Who has the power of her fruit? What's up with Momonosuke's sister, Lady Hiyori, who actually might be Komo Murasaki, the high-end courtesan that's heading to the palace right now. I heard a lot of people theorize about that. So yeah, the time travel thing though, I think it works great for One Piece because you understand, by the time One Piece is over, you know, we finally reach the ending of One Piece, this is going to be such an amazing story to look back on because it's going to literally take elements from, like, everything. Elements from sci-fi, elements from, action thrillers, elements of horror from, like, Thriller Bark, elements of, like, noir. Like, there's elements from, like, every kind of storytelling imaginable. Time travel, that's also science fiction. But, you know, Oda probably figures that you got ninjas and samurai in Wano. You know, Oda probably figured at some point this series is going to be really freaking long, 20 plus years. I might as well throw in a little bit of everything. And, you know, it depends on how you throw it in there. You can't just do it willy-nilly, but it works. I mean, he can't just have, like, you know, there's a time machine all of a sudden in Wano, and you could go anywhere you want. Like, that might be a little bit overkill, but just, like, adding an element of time travel in One Piece, I think it fits. So, what's more exciting than time-traveling samurai, though? Do I even need to say it? Do I even need to freaking say it? Okay, hold on. Just give me a second here. I don't want to overload the microphone. You know what? Even this might overload the microphone. Hold on. Let me just shut this door. Kaido is a dragon! Yeah! He is. Oh, if you're curious at this point, like, what do your neighbors think about you? My neighbor actually moved away recently, so it's an empty house right now. So I'm sure I had nothing to do with that. Okay, so yeah, Kaido being a dragon, also something this was something I maybe threw out as a possibility, but I was really debunking on Kaido just being this really ridiculously buff, like, demon-looking dude. Not an actual demon, but just, like, a giant that's, like, super strong and indestructible. I thought that would work. I guess it could have, but it's like at the same time, it's like, all right, but you do need to explain away his like invulnerability at some point. Like, you need to explain how he can jump off of a sky island and just get a mild headache, right? You gotta make it something like that explainable. So it's like giving him a mythical zone. Okay, it fits. And it's one of the most epic moments, I'm gonna say, of One Piece, where, I mean, how do you get much better than, like, oh, okay, the clouds are beginning to go dark and thunder crash, and then this ominous snake thing just descends from the heavens. It's a Chinese dragon. It is Kaido himself, and he's just like, where are they? I mean, at that point, you just, like, in terms of, like, a villain introduction, and I know it's not the first introduction of Kaido, if that was the first introduction of Kaido, if, like, this scene right here was the first time we ever saw Kaido in full, I think most of the fandom would just, like, pass out. immediately, right? You'd just be like, we're done, we can't go anymore. It would just wash across the land. It would be called the One Piece coma incident, you know? But in terms of, like, this is the first time the Straw Hats are seeing Kaido. This is the first time Luffy is seeing the dude. Setting up exactly how strong this guy's gonna be, and how very unlikely it's going to be that you're gonna be able to defeat him by yourself. And then what does Luffy try to do? Tries to defeat him by himself, and that's something Odom's like, no, I'm gonna pound this immediately in. Luffy's not going to be able to beat Kaido on his own. It's not happening. Luffy tries. Luffy busts out some of his highest octane, largest attacks, Gear 3rd, Elephant Gun, Kong Gun, Gear 4, all that crap. Doesn't work. Gets knocked down by one hit. Just gets knocked away and gets thrown in jail. Same thing that happened with Kid. So, however the final battle is going to go down with Kaido, I think Oda's made it pretty damn abundantly clear it's not going to be a one-on-one battle. It can't be. And even if Luffy trains up right now and learns some new moves and maybe does learn even if he did learn his awakening, I don't think that would be good enough. It's just not going to happen, right? You need to get all the Straw Hats together, plus Kid, plus Killer, plus the Supernovas. Just get them all together, and then maybe you might stand a chance. You get Law in there, maybe you might be able to make this work. But one-on-one, not going to happen. So yeah, and beyond that, we're at right now. And beyond that, we conclude Act 1 right around that point, and now we are here in Act 2 of Wano, ending out this year. And we actually, I believe, have one more chapter left of 2018. I'm just doing this video now because things are about to get very busy for me around the holidays. I'm doing the charity stream coming up and everything, so I'm not sure if I'll have time. I was going to do like a best 2017 moments last year, and I just never got around to it. Very busy this time of year, so I'm like, I'd better just do it now, even though I think there's one more chapter left before New Year's. Knowing my luck, that'll be the big epic chapter. That'll be a chapter where it's like, oh no, we get to see Im-sama again, and he's in Wano, and he meets Kaido, who is a dragon, and we get Orochi, who's also a dragon, and Lady Komurasaki turns out to be Hiyori, and then Shanks also is there, and then Big Mom arrives, and they have like a meeting of all the Yonko. Of course that would happen, right? You know? But no, I think Oda's going to end out this year on a high note, but I don't think it's going to be anything as equivalent to Kaido is a dragon or Im-sama reveal. It might be maybe more of like a Snake Man reveal, like that level of hype. Not saying Luffy's going to figure out another gear next chapter, but like that kind of level of hype. Like, it's exciting, but there's way more exciting things to come, that sort of stuff. And then next year getting into it full speed. Okay. So yeah, what did you guys think about this year of One Piece? Overall, if you were going to rate it 1 out of 10, or 1 out of 100 if you want to be more specific, you know, where would you place this year of One Piece compared to maybe the last few years? I know Totland started to wear on everybody's nerves after a while, but so far Wano is shaping up to be a great arc. I haven't really heard anybody really complain about it. We're only one act in. I mean, I guess it depends on how each act is going to be structured and how long the entire arc is going to go, but so far I think this is living up to the hype. I certainly think that's happening. When you start off the arc with Kaido being a dragon and time-traveling samurai, you're doing something right there, okay? You just got to keep the hype train moving, Oda, and we'll be good. What do you think, Robin? Oh, I didn't have... Really? Aw. Damn it, large phallic object. Wow, how dare you cover up Robin? That's just not fair. Come on. Alright, well anyway, also leave your comments below on why you think Robin is best girl. I got a nice little list to get you started, but you can go beyond that if you want, plus ultra, right? Oh yeah, My Hero Academia. I also wanted to throw that out there. I might possibly do a My Hero Academia chapter review this week, because there's no One Piece this week, so maybe. I don't know 100% yet, but we'll see how it goes. If I do one, it's not going to be like... It's going to be like in this style, just for something for me to talk about tomorrow, because there's no One Piece. Or Dr. Stone. I don't know. Maybe I'll just roll the dice and see what comes up. I'll just spin the wheel. I'm like, what am I talking about today? Haikyuu. Alright, I don't know anything about Haikyuu, but I'll review it. Alright. Have a great day, everybody. Tekking101 signing out. Onward to 2019.